Nate, come on.
Hello, this is Paul from Play Magazine.
And this is Luke.
And these are our most anticipated games still to come in 2016. Just before we start, just to make clear, we've only gone for stuff that's got a release date or release window announced in some way. So that's why there's stuff like Unraveled or No Man's Sky, for example, that's not on this list. So our first game is a bit of a no-brainer for PlayStation 4, really. It's Uncharted 4.
They're doing another Uncharted game.
Yeah?
Whoa.
Who would have
That's
thought?
great news.
I know.
Why has no one told me?
I know. And it is looking rather good. That gameplay trailer they showed off with the
E3
Jeep
stuff.
chase.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched that so many times. Like, that is some next level stuff, though. Like, some of the graphical effects going on there, the physics, everything working in tandem. Beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah, the level of detail is crazy. I mean, we were talking about stuff like, just like when he gets his gun out of his holster after being pulled through the mud, and it's got mud on the tip and the handle, but not where it's been holstered.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a tiny thing, but it's just, that's representative of the level of attention that they pay to everything.
Absolutely, man. There's just so much going on in that trailer as well. Like, I can watch it over and over and still be seeing new things. Like, just little tiny nuances, like you say, like nudging something and it falls off while he's kind of taking cover, or just kicking something away because it's in his way when he's trying to take cover somewhere else, tripping over people. Tiny little things that on a gameplay level do absolutely nothing, but for you watching or playing, you know, it really draws you into that experience. And I know people say gameplay graphics rather, aren't everything, but just looking at stuff like this, like, that level of detail can draw you into an experience like nothing else.
Yeah, it definitely can, yeah. But I think they are making some changes that might make it more interesting gameplay-wise as well. That particular trailer that we're talking about, not so much perhaps, because that looks a lot more like old Uncharted.
Yeah, very kind of scripted, very shooty, bang, explodey, on rails type stuff.
Which isn't, but is no means a bad thing. I'm not criticising that, because
that's what the games are, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's what Uncharted's known for. But last year at E3, I mean, we saw a much more open play space.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting to me, because like a new Uncharted will be amazing either way, but I think I'll enjoy it more if there's something that's a bit different.
Just a nice mix of stuff, yeah, that'd be fine.
And seeing those more open arenas where you've got more choice basically.
Yeah.
You can climb around below enemies, above them, and we've talked about this a bit before as well, about how it looks like. Whereas in the past, every element that was separated, so you're doing a bit of platforming, now you're doing combat, now you're doing stealth, now you're platforming again. Whereas in this, it looked like platforming could be a part of the combat, like you're using it to get a better position, or even you're using it for stealth, you're using it to hide. So
pretending to be Batman.
Yeah, so I think it looks like there's less of an obvious separation between all those parts.
I completely agree, and I think the game will only benefit for it as well. Like, if anything, that's one of the chief criticisms over the years has been, like, your little chapter sign pops up, and you're like, well, is this a climbing level or is this a shooting level? Because it's going to be one of the two, and then you get the odd stealth bit thrown in for good measure. Bring the whole thing together, bake it all into one big thing, and I think we're looking at something really quite special here.
Yeah. Either way, it's at least going to make us feel like PlayStation 4 is definitely worthwhile to have, because it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure it's going to be a great game as well.
You might not recognise this one because it's been away for about 2,000 years, but this is The Last Guardian, the new game from the same team that gave us Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. I said Eco, maybe you hate me now because I should have said Eco rather than Ico, because people do get that petty about these games. So if that's you out there, I do apologise. Paul, question 1, do you care?
I do, mainly because of what you said, because of the games they've made, which are known for being excellent games, and they are quite different to what you generally see in terms of the tone of them. And stuff like that, and it looks like it's got a sort of puzzle platform thing, and that's something that appeals to me. My only concern with it is because it's been delayed for so long, and it was a game that was being developed for PlayStation 3, is whether it's going to show its age in that way, if you know what I mean.
I think it will. I think that can't be helped, really. Like, moving development from PS3 to PS4 kind of so far into that project, I don't think there's any way around a degree of aging. Same as we're kind of seeing in HD remasters. You know, there's only so much kind of touching up work can be done on older assets. Like, it looks good. Those games still hold up now, like even on the PS2 versions. Like, the main reason being the team has a great art style. They're really, really good at that kind of thing, and that goes a long way.
Yeah, but my concern is that it could be from a gameplay perspective as well, in terms of their, you know, gaming's changed and designs moved on a lot since they started.
I don't know. Even so, like, if you look at Eco, whatever you want to call it, still kind of aren't that many experiences like that out there. Same with Shadow of the Colossus. Like, it took the kind of boss rush formula. Boss rush? That's not a video game. It'd make a rubbish game. The boss rush formula, and really interesting twists on it in the open world and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, we've not seen that many games like that. We've seen some retro indie kind of pure boss rush stuff, but that twist on it, the kind of with the sentimentality and that kind of stuff going in there as well, it's something they do really well, and I don't worry particularly that it's going to be showing its age on a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah, well, I hope not, because I mean, obviously anticipation's so high for it.
We have been waiting for it quite some time now,
and I really want it to be good, and I love cat dog bird thing.
Cat dog bird thing is quite stupendous.
Yeah.
What is it? Do we know? Was it like a baby griffin or something?
I guess so, but like griffins don't have cat bits.
Griffins don't have cat bits. I did not wake up this morning expecting to be asked that question. I'm afraid I don't know the answer.
I don't know.
It's
Anyway,
some kind of thing.
He looks cute.
It's got a cat dog face.
Yeah.
And chicken body.
So yeah, anticipation's high, but I'm hopeful it's going to live up to the standard of their past games, and if it does, then it'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
There's the herd.
Right, our next game is another very graphically impressive one, which is no surprise because it's made by Guerrilla, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. What did you think of that when they revealed that at E3?
I thought immediately that they should drop the Zero Dawn because it's really clumsy and awkward and horrible.
Yeah.
About the actual game, rather than just bitching about the title, I thought it looked brilliant because it's Monster Hunter with robotic dinosaurs.
So you're happy then?
I'm not sure I've woken up yet, to be honest. That's just too good to be true.
If numbers came off things when you hit them,
dude, I would love that the most. Damage numbers make everything better.
Yeah, but I hope the combat is as involved as they've made it out to be, where you need sort of certain techniques to take down. Because we saw her fight that big Thunderjaw, I believe is what it was called.
That's the one.
And we saw that there were some weak points that she was exploiting, like sliding under it and hitting a weak point, using that thing to grapple the dinosaur to the ground and hold it down. Like, that type of stuff is really cool, I think, if you do actually have to...
You need to know it's dynamic, basically, don't you? Not a scripted thing. Like, and I think that'll be the case as well. Like, from what I've heard, the behind closed doors demos at E3, it seemed to go quite a different way for different people, so not everyone saw that kind of same experience.
Okay.
Which is promising. I don't know, Guerrilla make really, really pretty games. The concern obviously being is that they make typically quite, I don't want to say average, that's really unfair on them, but passable. No, not even that. They're not passable, they're good games, I guess.
Yeah,
like, Naughty Dog makes great games.
But it's just they're like the Killzone studio. They make Killzone games. So this is...
Is that all they've done as well?
I think it is, yeah.
It's such a weird leap of logic to go from making a space shooter to, well, let's just make a hunting game with dinosaurs made of robots. And
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I'm not. There's no reason to think that they can't do it, but at the same time, we haven't seen them make an open world game. We haven't seen them make an RPG.
We haven't seen them make a game that isn't Killzone.
Yeah, basically. So, this is so different to what they've done before that we just don't really know how they can handle it. But it all
looks promising so far. What we saw at E3 looked great. I think we'll only see more in the coming weeks and months as well. Sony's obviously skipping Gamescom this year, but we're going to have Paris Games Week, we're going to have Tokyo Game Show, and we're going to probably have PlayStation Experience at the end of the year as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be seeing a lot more of this one before the year is out, I am sure.
This is going to be harder than I thought.
And this year is Dishonored 2, the sequel to the kind of cult classic, I want to say. Would you say that's a fair term? I don't know. It was sold well, but...
Yeah, it sold relatively well, but it's got like this quite strong fan base who are like, no, Dishonored is like one of the best games that's been released in recent years.
Only the game thief could have been.
Yeah. I would say I'm probably one of those people as well. Like, I really rate Dishonored. It's one of my favourite games from recent years. I think maybe some people who wanted to play it more aggressively didn't like it as much, perhaps. I get the impression that it's people that played it stealthily who enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, it definitely gave you more tools for the silent, stealthy approach than it did for the all-out action approach. Although that said, the tools it gave you are so versatile, they could be used in a hell of a lot of different ways, actually. Some of the more creative ones are brilliant.
Yeah, that's why I loved it, really. Like, it felt like you had a certain, like, a kind of agency in it. Like, there was so much creativity to the way you could approach stuff that it felt like you weren't doing things in the way necessarily the developer thought you would.
Yeah.
It felt like you were finding a way to do it. I love the design of the levels as well. I think it's designed to extent around Blink, like, the teleport mechanic, which is the best mechanic ever.
Isn't there a trophy for not using it?
There is, but it's too fun.
Has anyone got it?
But I just like the way you can sort of blink up to like a rooftop and sort of survey what's going on, where the patrols are, blink down, and it adds because obviously stealth can be quite slow, but it makes it can be like a really fast-paced stealth game. And yeah, I just think it's great. I thought the way they constructed the world, there was some really cool stuff with. In the first game, you had a heart that you could use. It guided you to sort of upgrades and stuff, but you could use it to, if you pointed it at characters or buildings in the world and like used it, it would tell you stuff about them. And stuff, and it wasn't like a lot of stuff that wasn't highlighted to you, but you could find out some really subtle stuff about the characters.
That's
and it gave a real sort of texture to the world. So I loved all that stuff. I thought it was great. Obviously, in this game, we get to play as Corvo from the first game if you choose, or Emily Coldren, who was a kid in the first game.
Right.
It looks like she's got some different abilities. It looks like she's got that thing from the Darkness almost, where you have like.
You should see the motions Paul's doing now are brilliant. Like, I can't really explain it, but
that's Darkness tentacles.
Darkness tentacles, okay.
And she seems to use that to sort of pull herself to buildings, almost like a grapple rather than. So that looks like a Blink equivalent, but I'm sure she'll have some other abilities as well. Other than that, we don't really know much about it. Set in a different area, but again, we've not seen much of it. But the thing for me is Dishonored was a great game, and I'm pretty confident this will be too.
But it's always good to see a familiar face.
This is Deus Ex, Titanfall, Infinity Ward, Man Divided, Call of Duty, Ops, Destiny.
Hey.
That's not right, is it?
No.
You're so defensive, man.
Call of Duty is copying Deus Ex, not the other way around. Leave Deus Ex alone.
What's it called then? You can give it its proper name.
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided.
Yay, well done.
Can you guess whether I like Deus Ex?
I get the feeling you probably do. Which is the best one?
Which is the best one?
Yeah.
I think the original's. I think the original's still probably
really
the
put you on the
best.
spot. I do
I think the
apologise.
original's the best, probably, but. In terms of like what it did at the time, like it was so far ahead of everything else, and like the scope of it was incredible. Like, but Human Revolution, I think, was a really good in terms of as reboots go. Like, they couldn't have done a much better job of capturing what it was that made the first game great, which was the sort of flexibility of how you approach stuff and how you upgrade your character in different ways and so on. The openness of the levels with. Obviously making it a modern game. For example, the original Deus Ex is a terrible shooter, an awful shooter. Human Revolution, granted, I'm not going to try and claim that it's one of the best, but you compare it to the original one, it's streets ahead. This game is what we've seen. They've shown off some gameplay. looks incredible. It's got loads of new gadgets that they've added in, which look pretty cool. They got rid of the rubbish boss battles as well, which was the only.
So I hear, yeah, that's kind of what kept me from playing the last one that much. Like I heard about that and never really
I thought
bothered
that was a
jumping
bit
in.
harsh as well, because there were only like 3-4 bosses,
Yeah.
and they didn't take that long. They weren't a big part of the game. They were bad, but yeah, it was a small thing. But still, it's good that they're gone. Or I don't necessarily know whether they're gone. They might still be there, but the problem with the first game was that it forced you to confront them head on, and if you had built your character as a stealth character, then you'd
struggle. Yeah. Didn't they fix that in the remaster?
I haven't played the remaster.
I heard that was one of the things they addressed.
Yeah, but so yeah, it might just be that you've got stealth options this time around. But it looks amazing, and as I say, first game was great, so I'm really hopeful for this as well.
Some people inside Ark are less committed to our ideals.
Our next one is Street Fighter V, which is one you're particularly looking forward to, I believe.
That's right, because I like being better at games than other people. I played this a little while ago, really damn good. A lot of people's main complaint with Street Fighter 4 was that it was too slow, too defensive. This adds in a lot of tools that kind of make it feel that bit quicker, but also kind of reward you for attacking now, which a lot of people felt that 4 didn't really do. So you've got chip damage on a lot of normal attacks now, which means if you just sit there and guard, then as soon as someone actually lands an attack, you're going to lose like a huge chunk off your health bar. You've got the alpha counter, which can use while blocking to push people away and kind of make a bit of room for your own attack. It's a much more aggressive game, like even down to the V skills and the V trigger stuff, which is unique to each character. They've all got their own traits, be it Ryu's parry or his power up when you fill up your V trigger gauge, through to like Chun-Li's got a low angle jump, M. Bison can catch projectiles and throw them back, Birdie can leave banana peels like some kind of Mario Kart nonsense for them to fall over on, which is cool, I think.
You're pretty happy about Birdie coming back.
I am
as well,
happy
right?
about Birdie. I'm glad to see him, and like they've done a good job on his redesign. He was a cool character before, and I really ever played him in the alpha days. I just liked him being there. But yeah, he's really good fun to play now. He's a really odd hybrid of kind of different classes and different types of character that I never thought I'd see. So he's got zoning tools, he's got grappling tools, he's good at range, he's powerful. Not even that slow for a big guy. Like I think he's going to see a lot of play if they don't do a lot of rebalancing to him, because right now, and from what I saw coming out of E3 and from other events and stuff, he's looking like he's the best character in the current build. Whether that be the same through the beta and the alpha, which is going on now, or shortly.
I don't think it started quite yet, has it?
It started mid-July, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
that's one of the points of having a beta, isn't it? So
Yeah.
hopefully,
So that when everyone picks Birdie, they can go, well, no, Birdie's too good, and then make him rubbish.
yeah. So when the final game comes out, then that stuff should be sorted because there's a beta. But yeah, I'm looking forward to give this one a try. Actually, like I don't know how to play fighting games.
But you know special
find
moves. I played you at Mortal Kombat once, and you did a special move.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat X is the first fighting game that I've been semi-competent at. so I'm well in there with fighting games now.
You've done
so
well. You're on the right page now,
Yeah.
ready for this, because this is going to be the big one. Like Capcom and Sony are both putting all the weight behind this. So when this hits like early 2016, you're going to know about it. It's going to be everywhere, and I like that. I like having more fresh meat.
Well, you're definitely going to beat me, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, the final game we're looking at is Dark Souls 3.
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3. I'm not sure how much we can say about this one other than it'll probably be good because Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Bloodborne were good. is that...
There's a bit more, like, from what we saw behind closed doors at E3, we've seen weapons that have their own stances attached to them, kind of like Bloodborne's trick weapons, so you've got 2 different movesets with them, which should be cool. We see much more of a return to the Dark Souls 1 design ethic, so more opening up routes via just exploring and finding shit. and then using bonfires to travel between them rather than the Bloodborne route of shortcuts everywhere, which again fans are pretty happy about. Just in general, the fact that it's back to the Dark Souls 1 A team, if you want to use that word. Dark Souls 2 was developed by a separate team while the main team worked on Bloodborne, as we know. So to have them back on board with a Souls experience that looks, feels and plays really similar to to the original game, and even to Demon Souls to some extent, but with the level of polish and sheer horror of Bloodborne, what's not to be excited about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I say, I mean, that team's been pretty much on form for the last few years. I suppose slight concern about the amount of games they're putting out now in terms of...
I think they'll be alright. Like, I don't imagine Miyazaki's doing a lot more than overseeing like any Bloodborne DLC that's in the works at the moment, meaning he's focused on development on this one here. My main thing with it is I really want to see some new and interesting mechanics in terms of online. Like, we saw the invasion stuff, and that's been really cool. Stuff like the playable bosses and getting summoned for bosses and that kind of stuff. They've been really clever and really ahead of the curve with that, and I really hope they carry on that trend.
Cool. So those are the games we're looking forward to in 2016. It's looking like a pretty good year already, and hopefully there'll be more to come with Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, PlayStation Experience coming up this year. Thanks for watching.
Come on. We got a treasure to find.